try to do something else to make it happen. Didn't happen.
Now, I know there's stuff on YouTube of world-class wrecking crew performing and things like that, but back then, was it commonplace to record your performances, to maybe watch them back later and see what you could have did differently, or was just video production so much money that even recording at that time was a little bit expensive?
Dude, it was really difficult. It was hard to find somebody with a camera back then. It was really difficult. A lot of videos I had was just stuff somebody gave me over time. Hey man, I was at your show. Check this out. Okay. And you can have it in that type of situation. And that's why it's not a lot of videos. It's pretty much the same 2 or 3 videos over and over again. Because at that time, a video camera was like $2,500 and was about yay big. Okay. It was $2,500 you had to put on the shoulder. You had to bring somebody with you to just run it. And VHS tapes was like $10, $15 a tape. Oh man, life was different. It was a lot different back then, man. It was a lot different. A lot different. And the quality wasn't that great because you had to have a lot of light. The one video we did to do those, I got to credit one of my ex-girlfriends. She works at the cable station with me, and she brought the whole truck out and she shot it on the 3/4 inch video and 3/4 inch video, and told me if I paid for the video, paid for the tape, she gave me the video, and that's how I got that stuff from Dudos. Other than that, I wouldn't have it. And back then, those reels were like $30 a piece, only 30 minutes long, big ass cassettes, about that big, about that wide, and they were 30 minutes long, and they were like $30, $35 a piece. You had to have at least for an hour show. You got to have at least 2 or 3 of them in case you messed up.
Yeah. Let's fast forward a bit. MTV is still around, and they start noticing this thing called hip hop. And out of the blue, I believe it was 88. I could be wrong. 88, 89, probably 88. They released Yo MTV Raps. Now, when you, as a person in the business back then, when you see Yo MTV Raps, an hour or whatever, 2 hours dedicated specifically to hip hop, this thing that everybody said was going to be a fad, what were your general thoughts originally on Yo MTV Raps?
I thought it was dope as fuck, and why you ain't talking to me? By that time, my last record was made in like 88, 86. I was 86, 87. I'm sorry, Jennifer Life made 87. We had kind of cooled down as world-class wrecking crew, and gangster rap had the whole world by the collar. And if you wasn't gangster, they really wasn't talking to you, unless you was JJ Fad. JJ Fad always got tons of love, but West Coast, it's pretty much was gotten to the gangster era, and they was focusing on hardcore stuff, and hip hop got hard. It stopped being fun from the West Coast, and they was focusing. I don't think Dream Team ever did Egypt or Dream Team ever did anything on Yo MTV Raps. They wasn't messing with us like that, and I think that's how the dynamic got shifted so hard, because the only people you start seeing on shows like that were hardcore rappers, and the party folks were still doing parties. They wasn't doing it on Yo MTV Raps, to my knowledge.
Before we continue, Marlon Cozy says, "Yo, I'm sorry, won't be able to catch you up in SAC, but do you have any more books for sale? Would like to buy 2 autographed, me and mom."
Got that. I just got some more books. Well, I got books. I got some coming in also for Sacramento, and between now and Sacramento, I'll make sure you get what you need, Doc. No problem. Appreciate you.
There you go. Yeah, no, didn't you see? Anthony King said he made a comment, but he thought I deleted it. No, I don't delete any comments, Brother King. But he said if this guy was good to Dre, he would have been rich. I assume you deleted. I wanted to address him. Go ahead and repost it. For some reason, maybe YouTube didn't like that comment or something, but I don't even see it up here. King. So yeah, go ahead and do that for me, and I'll make sure I read it off to Lonzo. But let's keep it pushing, Lonzo. Fox Channel 11 was a new channel back then, new station back in the late 80s. And from 1989 to 1992, they released a show. They had a show on their program called Pump It Up. I'm sure you're aware of the show. You even know Dee Barnes personally. I know one of the sisters from Body and Soul lived with you and things like that. But here's this other new show. You know, it's not as big as your MTV Raps. It's on a much smaller station, but it's a little more raw. It's a little more uncut. They're showing a little more of the artists that we listen to in the streets. But what were your general thoughts, man, when you saw this new show called Pump It Up?
And I was proud, dude. I was proud as one of my kids having our own show, or I am today as my grandson playing in the Fiesta Bowl. Because D was at my house when the mom called her and told her, you may want to come home. They're looking for you. And it was really a hell of an impact, because once again, somebody from my camp got, made it to the next level. And I was very proud of him. I watched that show every week. Okay. And I was really disappointed when the situation happened with her and Dre. And it just was the whole aspect again. Now she was trying to get to me, but they wouldn't let her mess with me. And it was just a different kind of era was coming into play, and they weren't messing with anybody that wasn't mad at the world.
Yeah, that was a dope show. I stayed up. I recorded every single episode I could. It introduced me to other artists that I never even knew was out there. What were your thoughts on that? Well, talk to us about D Barnes and Rose, man. You knew them personally. They were at your house. I know one of them lived with you for a short period of time. But what tell us about Body and Soul.
Rose stayed here for a while, man. She was a good friend. She's from Oceanside. She came out to LA and needed a spot to crash at. I had a big old house. I had 2 or 3 bedrooms. When nobody here but me, take a bedroom. And no, I never did do nothing. I'm that kind of dude. I can do stupid shit like that. We never did nothing. She just was a cool person. And because she was here, D came by all the time. And they would always be in the either studio or the den writing lyrics, or back in the studio rehearsing. And those two brought an energy that nobody else really did. Because one is fire, one is ice. Okay, Rose is real laid back. D is all over the place. Okay, but they feed off each other. Okay, they feed off each other, like Lucy and Ethel, man. They or Thelma and Louise. I can't think of no other female teams, but because they were so opposite, it worked. And the energy was, like I said, the energy was real, especially D. Her energy was always good, and it just made for a good vibe around the house. They have some cute girls hanging out, and when she got a call for Pump It Up, she was right here at the pad. I think her mom might have paged her or something like that, and had her come to the house. Say they're looking for you, and then a lot of dissension. So a little bit of dissension came in. I ain't gonna say a lot. A little bit of dissension came in because people thought because they were a group, they should have did the show together. And just like a salt and pepper type situation, and that it didn't happen that way. And it just, and especially when you got a bunch of youngsters around with a bunch of youngsters, nobody understand the game. They barely want to pay D. Why are they gonna pay somebody else? D was telling me stories like, they never recorded the shows. She's the only one that has any copies of the show. When the show was done, I think they destroyed the whole thing. They didn't even worry about archiving the shit. Okay. So it was a low budget situation, and the producers made all the money. So they didn't want to pay nobody. It was just one of them things. They was giving it a try. And I think right after that situation with her and Dre, I think it ended right after that, if I'm not mistaken.